So the Jedi Path, it's both a book and it's a Star Wars collectible, right?
It's the Venn diagram intersection of books and collectibles. So we said, hey, nobody's ever done that thing before. So we figured out what we would do. So it looks like this when you buy it. And it doesn't look like a book because it looks like some sort of box. But
do you have to answer a riddle to get in there?
Yeah, you have to. There's 3 riddles of the Sphinx, and if you don't do it right, it devours you. But this is the non-Sphinx version. So, but anyway, you get it, and it looks like this, and you open it by means of the Force. No, by pushing a button. So anyway, why don't you try that?
Okay. Oh, that's too cool.
Wow. And then it jumps into your hands.
Look at that thing. It levitates out of the thing on a riser, and you have these pulsating blue lights. The only thing that would make it better is if, like, smoke rolled out of it. So, at home you can get dry ice tablets and sort of complete the effect. But, the presentation of this thing is amazing. So you get the vault. This is the vault edition. This is the vault. Then this is the book, the Jedi Path. And the thing that's different about this is you can kind of see it looks a little worn. Its pages are a little tattered, and it's supposed to look like it's old. This is supposed to look like it's new. So you sort of this juxtaposition of old and new. That kind of Star Wars has always been this, used, lived-in technological universe. But this book is not Star Wars, the Jedi Path. It is, takes place in universe. It is a textbook that would actually have been carried by the Jedi, not a publishing house releasing something. Or at least that's the illusion that we're going for, right? And nobody's ever done this before. Lucasfilm has never authorized the Venn diagram thing, and they've never authorized that the actual artifact takes place in the universe in which it appears. So there's no UPC barcode. There's none of that stuff. The illusion once you get this is that this fell out of a wormhole from the galaxy far, far away, and now you have it. So that was really unique. And then we just had to figure out what we were going to put in it. Okay, now what? What contents are we going to have? What are we going to talk about? We got to talk about the Force. We got to talk about the dark side. We got to talk about lightsabers. All that kind of stuff. But are we going to have a souvenir? It's a metal coin, and if we are, what is it going to look like, and can we get metal coins supplied from a supplier and not have the whole thing cost too much, and all those types of considerations.
So this is an artifact from the actual Star Wars universe. Then who owned this before before you?
See, that was it. We didn't just want it to be. We didn't just want it to be an artifact from the Star Wars universe and a textbook. That there were lots of these textbooks lying around. I guess there were, right? But what we tried to do was this is a very special one because this was the very special copy of the Jedi Path that Yoda had at one point, and he passed down to Dooku, to Qui-Gon, to Obi-Wan, to Anakin, to Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. Right. And then after the Jedi were destroyed, right, then the Emperor picks it up as kind of as a trophy or something like that. Like, yeah. And then Luke finds it many, many, many years later. So that it expresses itself through things like commentary. So I write a chapter about joining a Jedi clan, but then there's all this graffiti, more or less, by the people who owned it over the decades, and they comment on the text and they comment on each other's comments. Between the lines, you can kind of see why the Jedi are awesome, right? But also why they were kind of flawed, right? Because they end up dying, and they didn't even see it coming. So obviously they had some flaws, right? And then the narrative was fun too because if it's Anakin, what's really gonna set him off in here? Why is he gonna write in it with his Jedi pen, right? And then if it's Obi-Wan or something, he's gonna comment on something different. So it is sort of a weird sort of a narrative more than it is a encyclopedia.
So now inside the pages of this, we saw a couple little things like this. What
that was the whole thing, because like I said, it comes in the vault, and the whole collectibles thing is it comes with items. So this is like a note from Luke who found it, at one point. This is a Jedi code. This is a map of the temple. This is probably my favorite, and it is a napkin, right? And it's got coffee on it, coffee stains. And this says Dex's Diner in Star Wars language. And then if you unfold it, it's got a diagram for a lightsaber. This is a Padawan braid, because, like in the movies, they grow these things. And then, so this was Qui-Gon's, I guess. So we have Qui-Gon's hair in here, right? Wow. They never let it be said we're not thorough. Qui-Gon's hair. But they would have saved it, and this is a Jedi Starfighter patch and all that. But the idea was these things are cool to have, and they're actual artifacts from the universe, but they had to be the kind of things that somebody might want to save, too. Right. So, you just kind of keep, hey, this was cool, and then they save it for later. So that's the whole thing, is as you're paging through it, there's supposed to be sort of a surprise on every page.